So I'm here with Larry, my good buddy, and what you served for which branch of the military?
United States Army.
Okay, and how long were you in for?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
What years?
71 through 73.
Okay.
And then, of course, when I was 18, they were still doing the draft by lottery.
Mm-hmm.
And my birth date was matched for the number 46. And I knew that if I didn't enlist before I graduated, there'd be a draft notice waiting on me shortly thereafter.
Yeah.
So I enlisted in April before I graduated in June, and had it where I start active duty on July 1st.
Yeah.
Give me about a month after graduation to not do much of anything.
Yeah, just sleep and party.
Yeah.
And prepare.
Until I had to go active. And then I went up to Kansas City and went through all that process. That's where I first learned the true meaning of hurry up and wait.
Mm.
And then,
famous saying in the military.
Big time. And then they took me over to the Kansas City airport and put me on a plane bound for Denver. And some of those coming out of Kansas City stayed on the plane and went on out to Fort Ord, California.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going to Fort Lewis, Washington. So I had about an hour and a half delay in Denver before they flew me on up to Seattle. And they sent me up there a few days early. And I had an aunt and uncle and cousins that lived in Seattle. So they came out to the airport and picked me up, and we went into Seattle and for a few days. And then Uncle Ron got me at Fort Lewis at midnight on the day that I had to be there.
Yeah, oh my God.
And then we stayed in the induction reception station, or whatever you want to call it. We stayed there for about a week. And then they took us over to where our basic combat training was going to be at, and it was still delayed another week or so before we actually officially got started. And then I went through basic and AIT there, and my AIT training was infantry. Because when I enlisted, they said if you enlist in a combat MOS, either infantry, armor, or artillery, we'll guarantee you 16 months in Europe. And I'm thinking, well, Europe's this way, Vietnam's this way. Yeah, sign me up.
I'll go to Europe.
And they were trying to get the idea of an all-volunteer army going.
Mm-hmm.
And so they gave me my choice of where I wanted to go for boot camp.
Yeah.
And I picked Fort Lewis because I had relatives up there.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Other places that I could have chosen, they didn't know anybody.
Yeah, makes sense. And I think that's a very good point, is that especially with guys in the military, it's important to have a very strong support system. And I can see that the guys that are doing good had that, and the guys that aren't doing so good didn't have anybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think
there was some place they didn't know a soul.
Yeah, and that'll kill you in anything in life. The support system is huge. So anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's a good point.
My AIT was just across the parade ground from where basic had been.
Mm-hmm.
And which infantry AIT is just an extension of basic combat training, just a little deeper into it. And since Vietnam was definitely going on pretty hot and heavy still at that point, they took us to a mountain village that had all kinds of flour-based mines.
Yeah.
Depending on how much flour you got on you was how wounded you were, if not dead.
Yeah, yeah.
And they put us to a mock POW camp, which they were pretty harsh on us, but nowhere near what a real thing would be like. And had a week-long FTX where they marched us out into the parade ground, and there were several Huey Cobra gunships out there, and they loaded us onto these gunships and flew out in the middle of nowhere at Fort Lewis, dangled a rope about 10, 15 feet off the ground, and we had full gear on us, and they said, "Okay, gentlemen, there's your elevator." We had to slide down the rope and then drop the last few feet to the ground.
Yeah.
And try to land in a crouching position where your weapon is ready, just in case.
Someone's down there. Yeah.
And then kind of finished that training, I think about early part of November, and they gave me a 30-day leave before going over to Europe. And that year we had an off-season tornado that took out the control tower at the airport.
In Washington?
No, here.
Here in Springfield?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're born and raised in Springfield, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just a few days before I had to be at Fort Dix, New Jersey, and wondering, am I going to be able to
How
get
the
a
hell
plane
am I
out of
going to
here?
get out of here? Yeah.
But finally, they did get flights going and flew me from here to St. Louis and from there to Philadelphia, and then put us on a bus over to Fort Dix. And I was there about 4 days or something like that, and then they took us over to McGuire Air Force Base and put us on a plane headed for Frankfurt, Germany.
Yeah.
Of course, we had to stop in Shannon, Southern Ireland and refuel on the way
Yeah.
there. So I've been to Ireland for about an hour.
That's cool though.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful around there.
Oh yeah, the countryside. You see, I've never been. My aunt just went, and she went on one of those deals because she's older, and they partner you up with some person that and they kind of share the same interest in the age group, and they have you meet, and if you like the person, you'd be like, can you travel with? So people don't have to travel the world by themselves. And so she went over there for, I think it was like 2 weeks with this person. They met once, and they hit it off, and she had a blast. But the pictures she got, the countryside's gorgeous.
Well, the countryside all around the airport was just lush rolling green hills, not too many trees, but lots of really green grass
Oh yeah.
all over the place. I want to go back one of these days, because that's where my family originated.
This is Irish. That's where mine did. That's why my aunt went. And yeah, I would love to go. I would strongly suggest that if you can pull it off, you should try.
Yeah, that's one of our
Bucket
things
list.
on our bucket list.
Yeah, that's good.
That and getting back to Berlin.
Yeah. So you were in Germany for 16 months, you said?
Closer to 18. But
Yeah, 18.
when I was guaranteed at least 16.
Yeah.
But and I started in Berlin all the time. Of course, you've seen my patch.
Yeah.
And it's still holding up pretty good. Too.
Yeah, it is. It's for that being that old, and that. See, the thing about what Larry's showing me right now is this Berlin patch he's got tattooed on his arm, and it's got a whole bunch of color. And the thing that's amazing about it is that blue is one of the first colors to fade. Because if you look at mine, like you can see it where it's starting to fade in spots, like there, and there. And I mean, I get out in the sun a lot, but it's blue comes out. And that's holding up pretty damn good for the age.
Yeah.
You took care of it, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Bring you some mayo, ketchup, and anything else? Mayo, ketchup? You want mustard?
I'm
or
good.
anything?
Yeah. It's good to me.
Yeah, I'm fine too.
So you were in Germany. What'd you do while you were in Germany?
Well, even though I was trained for the infantry, and it seems like I spent most of my time behind a typewriter keyboard of some sort.
Yeah.
My first job there was working in the motor pool with mainly getting GIs their military driver's license and doing a lot of other paperwork around the motor pool. And then they transferred me from the motor pool into the company clerk's office. Of course, first sergeant and I didn't get along real well.
Yeah.
Because that job didn't last real long. And then they transferred me there into a regular line company. And that was when the Bander Mittenthoff gang was going through Germany, rolling up EM clubs. And
Okay, I remember.
like that.
Yeah.
And they put me on guard duty of an ammo dump one night with a shotgun that wouldn't work if it had ammunition, didn't have ammunition anyway.
Oh my God.
I could see somebody trying to blow up an ammo dump and I'm going, stop. Waving the shotgun at it.
I'm gonna throw this at you.
Yeah, throw it at him. That'd been about the most I could have done. And the guy that had an actual M16 didn't have any ammunition. So even though it was a working weapon, he had no
What you can do
ammunition.
again? Yeah.
And I couldn't understand why would they put us on guard of an ammo dump when there's a German terrorist gang running around wanting to blow things up
Yeah.
and not being able to shoot at them.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
I wonder what did they give you a shotgun that didn't work just because that was all they had, or they didn't want any accidents, I guess, or
Possible. I don't know.
they would want you to. But at the same time, you'd think that they'd want you to be able to protect yourself. I can understand them saying, "Look, we're going to give him something that looks dangerous, but we don't want an international incident, so we're not going to give him the power to use it." But at the same time, hook a brother up with a knife or something. Give him something that the last ditch effort. This is all I can do. You know what I mean?
Of course, you don't take a knife to a gunfight.
No, you don't. But at least you got
And
a
I'm
chance.
sure the terrorists would have been armed.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure they would have been.
But,
So yeah.
fortunately,
Anyway,
nothing happened.
that's good.
But at that time, my wife was working in the EM club as a waitress, and one of the managers was his day job in the Army was working with the Allied force in French, British, and American personnel all working on the office complex. And so I re-enlisted to change my MOS and did my on-the-job training there at Allied staff.
Oh, cool.
And once again behind the keyboard,
Yeah.
because I was on a teletype machine, because that was pre-web, and everything, all messages went in and out via teletype.
Yeah.
And I worked in that unit for about 8-9 months, and then ended up getting transferred back to the line company, and then that was about the time they decided they wanted to pare down the size of the army, because Vietnam was
About over about that.
just about.
Yeah.
And, so they were reducing the size of their forces, and they said, "Who here wants to go home?" Why not?
Yeah.
Because I was back in a job that I didn't like, and
Yeah.
all kinds of extraneous circumstances surrounding that too.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be gone.
Yeah.
What I should have done was ask for a compassionate reassignment to somewhere else.
That you enjoyed. Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes
and
sense.
stayed in. Because I could have retired at 38 if I'd stayed in my 20.
Yeah. So before we started recording, so I was asked, what'd you do when you get out? And Larry and I have known each other for a while. And he knows I'm a musician, and he was telling me the story about a song you wrote for a band back in the early 80s.
Yeah, about 81.
Yeah. So what was the name of the band?
The name of the band was the Marley Brothers Band.
The Marley Brothers. And they played around here in Springfield
Yeah.
in the early 80s?
Yeah. They played at a place over in the corner of National and Elm Street. There's now Panera Bread Company. But
Okay.
At
Yeah.
that time,
I lived right by there. Yeah.
I think it was called Humphrey Clinkers back
And
then.
there used to be a bar.
Yeah.
Gotta be nice if it was now. It'd be close for me. Anyway.
Yeah, but they played there quite a bit, and every now and then they'd have a concert out of what used to be the Sheraton, and they I think it was in the fall of '82 they opened up for Black Oak, Arkansas, when they did a
Good
concert
Andy.
over at SMSU
No, that's cool.
in McDonald Arena.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I got them to play "Eat My Shorts" as written
In there
that night.
the song that you wrote for him.
Yeah, because the radio, or the version that they had recorded it on their sample tapes, wasn't in the original. They changed a few words at the very beginning of it, and like I said, they left out the guitar riff completely.
Yeah.
But at that concert, and I wish I'd had somebody there with a recorder to
Yeah.
record it. But they played the song as written at that show, and
That's
it
cool.
came off really nice.
That's awesome.
But,
cool.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well,
But the band consisted of Matt Marley on drums and Wade Marley on bass, and then Terry Thomas on the guitar, Rusty Schaefer lead vocals and guitar, and Greg Watkins on guitar. And Greg was the one that was playing the solo on "Eat My Shorts," and I don't know how they left it out, but
yeah.
it didn't make it to the
Radio
final
cut. Yeah, maybe it was a time issue. Could have
It
been.
might have been. I don't know. Most of the songs on that tape were covers of songs that they played in the nightclubs.
Yeah.
But it was a good effort. I just wish they had done right by "Eat My Shorts."
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty badass though.
But we'd be at a show or something, and you could hear people hollering "Eat My Shorts" from the audience.
Really?
Everybody loved the song.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, congratulations on that 15 minutes, because that's pretty badass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was.
It's cool, especially because I'm in a million different projects and stuff, and I've written a million freaking songs, and it's cool when you get to see the reaction. But I've never given someone a song and been like, all right, you do this, and then see it go popular. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So, Larry, thank you for your service. I really appreciate it, and thanks for coming to lunch today, man.
Well, thank you for having me.